Yeah.
And to our listening ears, all nature sings and round us rings the music of the streets.
Brothers and sisters, welcome to Penn Sunday School. Brothers, sisters, siblings, welcome to Penn Sunday School. Broadcasting from Show Creator Studios South here in Las Vegas, Nevada. Michael Godot is off juggling elephants. He could not make it here today, but we are here to tackle the latest issues affecting the world today, like what Penn thought of the Joker and other things like that.
Joker.
Just Joker.
Right.
Yeah.
I was watching the Joker while listening to the Led Zeppelin
Here he is preaching the pendulum.
and the Imagine Dragons. It's not the Joker, but I want to talk about this. You know, we're doing this. We're doing this early today because I have to go to rehearse.
Okay.
Now, Teller. It's amazing to see Teller's face without pain.
Oh, wow.
I'd begun to think that that's what he looked like. For 2.5 years, he's been in constant, unbroken pain.
Yeah.
Right. And it made him look older, frailer, and sadder.
Yeah.
He was older, frailer, and sadder.
Right.
He went to L.A., got surgery done by people who do like football players and stuff, the most modern shit they possibly do.
Right.
He explained one thing to me that was mind-blowing to me, that when other people do surgery, they cut into where they got to go with the scalpel.
Yeah.
Right? For the new technique, they take a half hour to go through like an inch of flesh, and they just push it apart very, very slowly. So they're not really cutting, so it all goes back together really nicely, and you heal better. And they put in this like little disc in there to adjust his posture and keep it. I mean, just this is stuff that they do professional football players.
Right.
You know, like NFL superstars, that's where they go. So Teller, you know, with his football history. Yeah. So his face is without pain. It's amazing. And he's also, he found out he has sleep apnea, so he's now doing a CPAP. So Penn and Teller 100% CPAP. And he's adjusting to that. And he also has had cluster headaches. And I'm really eager to hear about this, really eager. You know, Dr. Greger, who wrote How Not to Diet, is my new boyfriend. Yeah. I write to him every day. I love him. And I've been on my diet. So far, doing perfect, Greger. Well, not perfect.
Right.
I usually do perfect within a mouthful. Never even fuck up a mouthful. But I'm now doing his exact diet with all his groats. We've talked about this. I'm not eating after 8 p.m. I'm keeping my feed window about 2 hours, 3 hours, fasting at least 21, usually 22. Yeah. Intermittent fasting every day, 22 hours. Eating exactly what he suggests, low salt, weighing myself twice a day, measuring my waist, which has come down 2 inches. Doing my blood pressure twice a day, after meditation, doing everything right. And then the other night, my daughter, you know this comic John Mulaney?
Yeah.
Oh, he's so good.
Very good.
My daughter's memorized everything by him. She loves him.
Yeah.
Loves him. She seems to love comics who look like Marco Carbonara. And she asked me to watch the special with her.
Yeah.
One of his specials called New in Town. Really good, crazy good. And it was nice to watch something that my daughter had found, comedy-wise, because her dad is ignorant. That's the only reason. Everybody else knows who he is. And we were going to watch at 7:30. So that's before 8. That's my window. So I had my supper. So I still had a half an hour in the window after my supper. So I said, I'll have a little bit of popcorn, which is a whole grain, and I'll put on it vinegar, a little spray of vinegar, and then some nutritional yeast. And I'll eat that and enjoy, again, eating popcorn during a movie. And then the children are going to go to bed, and I'm going to watch Joker, right?
Yeah.
That's the plan. I started eating the popcorn, and I'm a creature of habit. So I was not hungry, but habit kicked in. I had to have nuts, chips, peanut butter and vegan cheese. Totally fell off the wagon for an hour and a half, and then got right back into the groove and got it. Anyway, so I'm down, over 10 pounds this year. You're losing weight too, right?
Yeah.
What are you down?
I'm down 12 pounds this year.
Nice. So we're the same.
Yeah.
And
Although I've only lost about an inch on the waistline, so maybe you're doing something smarter.
I'm trying to.
Guido has my groats. He
Asshole.
hasn't showed up for the last 2 Sunday schools. I don't think he's coming next week because of the Super Bowl.
He has to go to Lance's party. Why is he still sucking up to Lance Burton? I guess Lance hires him 3 times a year. So,
Yeah.
Okay, good. There's a reason. Lance wasn't at Max Roast.
No.
Man.
By all, the only unverified accounts say he had a gig.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
That was weird.
It was weird.
Really weird. Anyway, so Teller, who's changed his diet, and one of the reasons he's feeling better, although let's not discount the back surgery,
Yes.
has these cluster headaches. So he talked to Dr. Greger, who's crazier than a shithouse rat.
Right.
What do you think? Take a guess at what Dr. Greger suggested to stop cluster headaches. If you hit this,
Oil? Ingesting oil?
okay, not even partial points. Tell me how long it would have taken you to guess this.
Okay.
2 of us in a room,
Yeah.
just the 2 of us. I give you no feedback whatsoever.
Yeah.
I'm just going to tell you no, 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 until you hit exactly what it is. Okay?
This would be the experiment, but we're not going to do it.
No, because it would be the next 3 years of Sunday school. Take a Q-tip,
Yeah.
put on it hot pepper, and stick it deep into your nostril.
I would never guess that.
I'm not suggesting anyone does this who's listening.
Yes.
Don't anybody do this.
Yeah.
But Dr. Greger told, but by the way, this is a game of telephone. I didn't get this from Dr. Greger. I got this from Teller.
Yeah.
So it very possibly could have been this guy said eat peanuts and Teller misunderstood.
Or aspirin.
Yeah. They were doing a study on pain.
Yeah.
And one of the super pain things you can do without harming someone is stick hot peppers in the back of their nose. So the study on pain, they were taking a Q-tip, putting hot pepper on it, hot pepper oil, I guess, that you're supposed to put on muscles. You know, they do hot pepper oil on arthritis muscles and stuff, right? Taking that oil, sticking it like blockhead up the nose, and it's incredibly painful. But they found out doing their pain studies that after doing it, once again, this is all from Teller, probably not true.
Yeah.
They found from doing pain studies that the pain diminished really quickly. That the nerve, the reason you got so much pain was right near the nerve that ran through your whole head. And that nerve became fatigued with pain signals. And then someone read the scientific paper of the pepper nose pain people. I guess they called themselves that, the pepper nose pain people. By the way, that's the name of this episode. Pepper nose pain people. They read it and said, oh, that's the nerve that causes cluster headaches. If we can fatigue that nerve, maybe we can stop the cluster headaches. So they started doing it, and apparently they had a lot of success with it. So Teller was leaving rehearsal yesterday to go out and get hot pepper oil to stick on a Q-tip to stick up his nose when he got headaches to hurt himself badly.
There's a connection between the nerve and headaches?
Yeah. The cluster headaches. Cluster headaches are a very specific kind of headaches.
Okay.
They aren't migraine. They aren't regular headaches. Special kind.
Okay.
He's going to stick peppers up his nose.
And we're on, and how many days before that nerve fatigues?
I think it's supposed to be a couple of applications right away.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the way I understood it.
So I'm curious about the results of this hot pepper too. That really sounds like a load of shit.
It sure does. I will tell you that if Dr. Greger
Yeah.
made it up and told Teller to do it as a practical joke, I've never been anybody in the world I've loved more than Dr. Greger.
Also, there's the placebo thing that drives you and I crazy.
Right. Which you'll see today. One of our bits is about that. One of the
Okay.
new bits. Now, I also want to say we have been off for 6 weeks because of Teller's operation.
Yeah.
As you know, we did Penn and Friends and so on. And Teller and I have been meeting and writing. And you know, we have another season of Fool Us coming up.
Yes.
And we are opening the show at the Rio February 1st. Will be the first Penn and Teller show since before Christmas. Well before Christmas. First Penn and Teller show. Back. Teller and I have not worked together on stage for like 8 weeks.
Yeah.
12 new bits. We're coming in with an entirely new show. We're opening with Air Sax.
Yeah.
We're closing with Elsie.
Yeah.
We are doing Silverfish. We're telling us the coins.
Yeah.
And we're doing Cowboy, the old thing. Where we give
Oh, you're bringing that back?
Yeah.
Oh, I love that bit.
And then in between, all new shit. All new shit.
Oh, great.
So we're rushing here. We started early so you can come over and look at some of the stuff.
Yeah.
We're going to use you as someone who hasn't seen the trick that can be an audience member.
Uh-huh.
See how you react and how you move
Great.
when we stick hot peppers up your nose. And,
Goodbye, headaches.
and we're also going to have you watch a couple of things, give us advice
Okay.
on pacing and so on. It's amazing. Teller and I have been working together 44 years. We've been working every day on this new show, every day. Teller can do about 4 hours and he's fatigued.
Yeah.
That's still pretty good.
That's good. Honestly, it's like most human beings.
Yeah.
Talking about the 8-hour workday, the same most of the work gets done in the first 4 hours, and the rest is kind of
Yeah.
arbitrary.
So Teller and I, no tension, no fighting. Crew is perfect. Work's moving ahead at supernatural speed. We're enjoying it, having a good time. I can't imagine a group of people working together better and more efficiently,
Wow.
including NASA and relay runners. We have really got it down, which means we're going to get this perfect by the time we die. We really have got it down. It's really going well.
I've talked about this. Even talking to Mac and Pip, like your crew is insane.
Insane. The best.
It is amazing to work with your crew.
Yeah. They run over. We start to ask for something. It's already set up.
Yeah.
It's amazing. They're just the best.
Yeah.
Just the best. But it's amazing that, you get good at stuff. I mean, as my friend Eddie Gordetsky says, we got to die because it has to be someone else's turn in the driver's seat. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You don't want to have Houdini running all magic for 200 years.
Right.
Other people have to take it no matter how good he was.
Right.
Other people have to take over, do other stuff. Get out of the way. Just get out of the way.
But you're not going to retire.
I won't retire. I won't get out of the way. I'll die, which is fine. That's built in.
Yeah.
That's built in. Okay, now it's time. Is it time? First, I want to talk about this. That it's time. That it's time to talk about this. Sensitive sonic vibrations for an effective clean that's gentle on your sensitive gums. People brush too hard, and some electric toothbrushes are too abrasive. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Oh, yeah.
I'm talking about Quip. Quip. Boy, they're good. Built-in 2-minute timer pulses every 30 seconds to remind you when to switch sides and help you clean your whole mouth evenly. 90% of us don't brush for the full 2 minutes and don't clean evenly. Multi-use cover. You know how much Godot loves the cover.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that cover, the Quip toothbrush. Anyways, this is the Quip toothbrush. Brushing for 2 minutes twice a day is the best thing you can do for your mouth. It's really important. You got to floss regularly as well. No matter what brand you use, Quip makes that simple, starting with electric toothbrush, reliable refillable floss, and anti-cavity toothpaste. It's all there with Quip. Quip's electric toothbrush has sensitive sonic vibration with built-in timers. The Quip floss dispenser comes with pre-marked string to help you use just enough. Boy, Quip does everything right, don't they?
Dude.
Quip delivers fresh brush heads. By the way, it's hard to say.
Yeah.
Quip delivers fresh brush heads, floss, and toothpaste refills to your door every 3 months with free shipping, so your routine is always right. Join over 3 million healthy mouths and get Quip today, starting at $25.
$25.
$25. You use your Quip, right?
I love it. Yeah.
It's just the greatest, especially good on the road. Really good. And if you go to getquip.com/Penn right now, you'll get your first refill free. That's your first refill free at getquip.com/Penn. Spelled GETQUIP.com/PENN. Quip. The Good Habits Company. It's a good toothbrush. You need a toothbrush. They refill it. They do everything right. Go do that. Now, time to get to the Joker, right?
Yeah.
Boy, it's hard to say Joker instead of the Joker.
It is hard.
Really?
I think I've just been doing it plain wrong.
Yeah. It's called Joker. And I'm not the one who noticed this.
Yeah.
But I would be the one who noticed it if no one else had, because it is plain as the clown nose on your face. It is just Taxi Driver.
Yeah.
The movie is Taxi Driver. I mean, it is Taxi Driver with a guy with makeup. And I think at another time in my life, like when I was 25,
Yeah.
this would be my favorite movie of all time.
Yeah.
When I was 25, it was a very good year. I thought that art was angst.
Yep.
You know, when Springsteen sang about troubled working class people,
Yeah.
anything that showed people that were mentally ill and suffering and the injustice of society,
Yeah.
I was just crazy for it.
Yeah.
I just loved it and thought it was so heavy and so beautiful.
Right.
Now, Joker is done, as far as I can tell, perfectly.
Yep.
Every shot perfectly set up. The with the exception of De Niro, the acting is perfect. And maybe I'm not getting something. De Niro plays the talk show host.
Uh-huh.
He plays a Joe Franklin type character, but more successful. So maybe he's playing I would say, Kimmel or Fallon or Conan, but they're all too young.
Yeah.
He's kind of playing a Johnny Carson character. Maybe even more Tom Snyder. It's very old fashioned because it takes place in the 70s. I don't know if they actually say that.
Early 80s.
Early 80s. But he's playing that character. Now, I thought that the character of the talk show host, unlike De Niro's character in King of Comedy, should be competent.
Right.
He's not a competent host. Did you think so, Reddy?
Right.
He does not seem funny. He does not seem to know how to run his show. Now, is that De Niro being incompetent?
It didn't seem quick either.
No, not quick. Is that De Niro not being good? Now, I know they had to have De Niro in the movie because it's Taxi Driver and they want it to be De Niro. I understand that. But did you think he was well cast otherwise?
I think that was the character, not the acting.
You do.
I do.
So you think that we're supposed to believe in the early 80s that character would be that famous a television personality?
It was a local guy, right?
Not from the way the studio looked. Studio looked exactly like the Carson studio to me.
I thought it was supposed to be like a...
Joe Franklin. Joe Franklin was the local New York guy in the early 80s.
Yeah, or Morton Downey or somebody like that.
Yeah,
He was
yeah.
doing
And the
syndication.
name is Franklin.
Right.
Yeah. So I guess I'm wrong, but I wanted him to be better.
Well, they couldn't have him be smart because he would have dumped the guy right away.
Right. Yeah, I guess so. But I want to talk a little bit about the acting. Joaquin is perfect,
Yeah.
including the lip is great. He is perfect. I mean, beyond perfect. Dead on exactly the character. His body, every move, every facial expression, perfect. The laugh, perfect. Frightening, uncomfortable, unpleasant, perfect. Fascinating every second, perfect. Now, I want to tell you, when I was 25, this would be the best movie I'd ever seen in my life.
Right.
Now, every frame held my attention. I wasn't daydreaming during it. I paid attention. I was interested. I followed it. But it did not speak to my heart at all. Things that speak to my heart now are about complex kindness
Yeah.
and about accomplishment. I still have, I believe, more than ever, compassion for the kind of person that's represented by Joaquin in this.
Yeah.
For Arthur, but I think about a great Lou Reed line where he says, "There's injustice in this world. Hey, how about that?" I know that there's suffering like that,
Right.
and it being exaggerated in that. But here's what I want to ask you, because you know much more about acting than I do, and I wish we had somebody like Sean Penn. Or someone who is even Brad Pitt.
Competent.
Brad,
Yeah.
Brad Pitt
Yeah.
as an actor. Because I think this kind of role that you get so much credit for is easier than other roles.
Interesting.
I think being angst-ridden and crazy is an easier part than the parts Tom Hanks has.
You know, I mean, you brought up the Atlanta bombing movie. I forget the name of that one. And that's the kind of thing where, like, if you're a thin person, you gain weight for a role, you get a lot of credit. But if you're just a big person, if you're just a big person playing a role, you won't get credit. You know. And I mean, there's a
Well, I
certain
believe
element.
Joaquin. I don't know if you know this, right? Did Joaquin lose weight for this, or is he really that skinny?
No idea.
He's wicked skinny, crazy skinny,
Yeah, I believe I read that he did lose weight.
scary skinny.
Yeah, weight loss and stuff like that. You know, I think it speaks to a fantasy, right? Like our idea of acting. You know, I think you're getting a lot of credit for, like, oh, if I were an actor, I would love to play a fucking crazy person, and embrace the insanity of it, and in truth, then in turn, kind of risk your own sanity.
Yeah,
Which, by the accounts of his interviews, seems like he felt that was the case.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He executes it well, but it's also the kind of role you want to see executed well. Does that make sense?
Yeah, beautifully.
So
I think one question I've always wanted to ask Sean Penn.
yeah.
Sean Penn has done really serious, deep, dig into yourself roles.
Yeah.
I wonder if any of them were harder than Fast Times.
Oh,
Fast
interesting.
Times, to be that character, that Spicoli character,
Yeah.
seems really difficult.
And yet, when you look at Sean Penn's career, that's almost like the flip of, like, oh yeah, he started there, but then he started really acting in other places.
Yeah, that's kind of my point. I'd like to talk to Brad Pitt because I think being the Brad Pitt character in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood
Yeah.
is much more skillful than Joaquin Phoenix in Joker.
Yeah, I mean, again, so you know, I studied to be an actor for a long time and tried acting for a really long time. And I think there's a time where I was pretty good at it. I don't think I was ever great. And but from my perspective, so like characters where you don't have to hold back as much, where you have room to be to swing as many ways as you can swing. Like, for instance, playing Midsummer Night's Dream. I played the guy that gets turned into a donkey.
Yeah.
You know, you got to be an arrogant actor. Boom, you're turned into a donkey. That kind of thing.
Yeah.
There's just it was so fun to play, and I got a lot of credit for playing it well. And I was like, this is fun. You really can't go wrong as long as you're just going for it. You know, it was so easy. And I definitely have found it to be harder to do things like play smaller roles where you have like 3 lines and stuff like that, where you have to just feel like you're listening and talking. You know, and that's what I always loved about Robert Duvall. He's like, you're just listening and talking. All you're trying to do is figure out things. So you got to figure out enough things that you can just sit down and listen and talk. Just listen and talk. Because that person would listen and talk. And that like quote would haunt me all the time. Because no matter how much I thought I was making choices or doing good things, if I felt like I was making choices, then I was like, oh, am I illustrating those choices? And the audience is just buying into the illustration of it. But I'm actually not acting. I'm actually portraying, you know? That would bother me a lot.
Well, we did director's cut.
Yeah.
We had to audition a bunch of women for the part of the woman I kidnapped,
Right.
which ended up being Missy Pyle,
Yeah.
who's fabulous.
Yes.
Fabulous actor on every front. We would do scenes in the read-throughs and during the auditions.
Yeah.
And we had a few different pages. And some of the pages, one of the scenes they had to do, they were tied up, tortured, miserable, fighting for their lives.
Yeah.
Every single person we brought in nailed that. Every single person would have shot it with them that day.
Yeah.
They were fabulous. I was amazed. They'd read the words on the page, crying, screaming, done.
Yeah.
Then they had scenes where it's hidden camera and they aren't playing, they're playing themselves 100%,
Yeah.
talking to Adam, the director, using their own name,
Yeah.
casual conversations. All of them terrible.
Yeah.
Every one of them terrible.
Yeah.
Asking an actor to play themselves, just talking at the craft services table,
Yeah.
seemed really hard. Isn't there a famous story of Brando at the actor's studio, like eating a sandwich or something?
Oh, I don't know that story full out. I do know stories of friends when they were getting their pilots, especially when, the Curb Your Enthusiasm era first came around, although it's still around now. When it first came around, some people were getting mock reality shows or shows that are loosely based in their lives and that kind of stuff. And I know multiple friends who lost their own part, where friends wrote the part for their friend to play themselves.
I know someone that did that
and
too.
they lose out on their part to play themselves to somebody else.
Yeah. I knew I had a girlfriend
Yeah.
who wrote a pilot based on her life.
Yeah.
Her life that had her name in the title, and she got bumped for another actor.
Yeah. It is so hard because there is a reductive quality to what a character plays and how we understand storytelling. And it's very hard to reduce yourself to the role you play in whatever the story, the story arc. And then, like Tom Hanks is amazing. And I bet in the Washington Post movie, just him listening and talking is unflinching, right? And to be someone to actually portray someone immersed in a totally different version of a different industry and everything else, newspaper media and all that kind of stuff, I bet it takes forever, to really lock in. And you won't get credit for stuff like that because it just ends up being the thing that we think we'd see if we went there.
I want to talk to some. We've seen that with De Niro.
Yeah.
De Niro in Taxi Driver was amazing. And De Niro trying to do any sort of pleasant romantic comedy or just be himself, terrible.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely have, and this is going to sound like it's, I stopped kind of going out for stuff since the whole magic thing happening. And it's been kind of enjoyable to look at acting from the outside. But like, I find myself wanting to give advice to people like I said, this is going to sound like it's dark and I don't mean it to be, but it's like, how is the person across the room from you going to take credit for choosing you? What's the story they're telling? Do you know what I mean? What's the story they're going to tell to do whatever, This guy came in. It's a story of Perry Mason, Raymond Burr getting the part. Yeah.
He came in to be the heavy, and someone stood up and said, why don't we make him the star?
Right. And
that's a story.
And that's that guy's story for years and years, discovering Harrison Ford as a carpenter,
There was a show that was over in England.
Yeah.
It was a detective show.
Yeah.
And it was really, really, really good and psychological and really deep and rich.
Yeah.
Called Cracker. There's no secret on it.
Yeah.
Remember the show Cracker?
Yeah.
Robbie Coltrane? Robbie Coltrane, I think. Something like that. Cracker was an amazing show.
Yep.
Yeah. An amazing show. And Robbie Coltrane was an incredible actor.
Yeah.
Is an incredible actor.
Yeah.
And it was a really good show. Really good show. This guy who, lectures and so on.
Yeah.
And they were doing an American version, which they ended up doing. Did not do well.
Yeah.
Doing American version. And they wanted me to read for it. So I went to my buddy Dean Cameron, star of Summer School.
Yeah.
Fabulous actor. He shows up all the time in things.
And that's it, right? He is a fabulous actor, but you wouldn't be like you're one of the few people that would go around parading how much of an actor he is.
Oh,
and
he's
there,
good.
and there are a bunch of characters. The guys that show up everywhere and playing those small parts are good because of that's amazing that they can take such few amount of pages and execute.
Yeah,
he's
really good. He's a lawyer and everything now.
Yeah,
Dean Cameron. I call him Dino, but his name is Dean Cameron. And everybody remembers him as Chainsaw in summer school, even though that was whatever it was 40 years ago, 30 years ago. He coached me a lot, and I went in for the audition. I think they were choosing me because physical type. Robbie Coltrane's a fat guy. I was a fat guy. Good, let's do that. So they brought me in, and I had like, I don't know, 5 callbacks. You know, because this was to be the star of a.
Yeah.
I also it was very, very tense because if I'd gotten it, it was debatable whether I could do it. I'd have to be flying back to Vegas and do shows and doing the lead in a. You know, it was weird. It was when the agents were saying because they saw dollar signs, Penn will be able to do this, but it wasn't clear that there was any way to actually do it.
right.
I mean, could I get on stage in time? Could I get back to this? You know, the studio in time.
All the arrangements, yeah.
Possible, but we were going with it, and they were very troubled. The character is an alcoholic and a chain smoker, divorced, and 2 children. At the time, I was not married, had no children, non-smoker, never had a drink in my life.
Yeah.
I would read the scene. Then they'd say to me, you don't smoke. And I'd say, no, but I'll smoke for the scene. Of course, you know, I can smoke for that. And they said, you never had a drink? I said, no. And they said, well, this guy's an alcoholic. And I go, yeah, but I've seen people drink. You know, it's not a documentary about me. I'll be able to do that. I said, well, you are convincing in the scene as being an alcoholic. I said, well, I was trying to do a good job.
Yeah.
And they said, but you don't seem to have anything of the real character. I said, well, Brando wasn't in Vietnam.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, that's why it's acting, right? We're not supposed to be that. And then it comes down, of course, to my favorite sentence. I can't imagine being anything but an actor. Doesn't it make it impossible to be an actor? In this scene, you're a nurse. A nurse who's an actor? No, you're just a nurse.
I can't imagine anything but being an actor. But if I play a nurse who wants to be an actor, I can do this.
So I said, I can do that. And then they said to me, and I don't know, I don't want to, it's always so embarrassing when someone tells a story that the person in the story is obviously lying to that person.
Right.
So I may be doing that. And if I am, consider me pathetic. But at the end, it was 5 callbacks.
Yeah.
And the later auditions, I was in the room for like an hour with them.
Yeah.
Going over the whole script. Let's try this scene. It was no longer prepare these pages.
Yeah.
It was like, okay, let's go through and try this. You know, do that. And they said to me something really strange.
Yeah.
They said the other actors we're considering can't do the lecturing. Robbie Coltrane's a lecturer at a college.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of stuff behind the lectern with slides behind him where he's actually speaking about the criminal mind.
Yeah.
Pontificating. They said the other actors, they couldn't get that nailed. That just direct address teaching stuff.
Yeah.
And I was doing that really easily. And they said they also couldn't get something else out of the other actors they're getting really easily. But they said the stuff that everyone else is nailing, every other actor we have in here has done perfectly, you can't do. So we're in the position of having you be able to do everything the other guys can't do.
Right.
And they can do everything you can't do. But we've got 10 of them that can do the stuff you can't do, and 1 who can do the stuff they can't do. But we've been thinking about it, and we've decided that the stuff that they can do is more of the show than the stuff that you can do. And we'd rather write around what they can do
And
right around what they can't do.
How many seasons did this show last?
Not one, but but it's interesting because I was the only performer they had in there,
Yeah.
and Robbie Coltrane was a stand-up. So of course, when he's doing the stuff beyond the lecture, we're working with the Play That Goes Wrong people. I mean, Magic Goes Wrong is now running
Yes.
over in England, and they are all phenomenal actors, fabulous actors, fabulous stage actors. And the first time they had to address the audience, totally flipped out, totally different thing.
Yeah.
Even though they're in character,
Yeah.
that straight address to the 1,000 people who are actually there is a very different thing.
Yeah, that was what I found improv training. There's long form and short form. Started off as short form, then moved to long form, and made me think that short form was bullshit. Because I did it as a kid, and it was stupid, And then all of a sudden there was all these long formers who couldn't do short form, and the reason why is because they couldn't talk to an audience.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, it's so interesting that like at 15, 16, and 17, I was taught how to like speak to a room full of people.
Yeah.
And that helped tremendously down the road. And I couldn't like knock that aspect of it from a training perspective.
You give me direct address to the audience,
Yeah.
anything,
Yeah.
I'm real comfortable with that.
Yeah.
It's the sitting across the table from your wife after you've had a fight.
Yeah.
That's the acting stuff that I have no hint about.
Yeah.
And that's the stuff that takes a great deal of training. I'm going to sum up this by saying I believe they made the right choice.
For the TV show.
Yeah.
I think because they couldn't find someone who could do both, they probably didn't. I want to say you got to go ahead and find someone who could do all the scenes. That's my call. With the hindsight being 2020.
My point is they were right to not go with me.
Okay, that's fair.
Can I give you that?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know if there's ever going to be a time where I need to learn to do that stuff.
Yeah, I don't know either. I mean, you do a lot of TV acting.
Yeah, I do. But more than half the time,
Yeah.
my call sheet for my character says Penn.
Right. And when you don't, but you do go to Dino for advice and stuff.
I do.
And so-
I did actually, the thing I did when I did a play called Exonerated,
Yeah.
was a play off Broadway.
Yeah.
And the gag on it was all real people
Yeah.
who had been on death row, death penalty people who were exonerated. Hence the title.
Oh, God. Oh. Ooh.
And the gag on it was that it was staged reading. So you stood behind music stands and read the parts.
Yeah.
So it was not staged. And I did it with Mia Farrow and Peter Coyote, whose real name, incidentally, is Peter Cohen. I guess he didn't want to go with Wiley Cohen, so he went with Peter Coyote. But Peter Coyote, Brian Dennehy,
Yeah.
Mia Farrow, I was in with real people, no kidding around people. And I was playing a guy who was, during a blackout drunk,
Yeah.
believed he killed his parents. Turned out he did not. And was let off death row. Stoner, drunk, hippie. And Dino gave me amazing advice
Yeah.
to do that. And I really I worked with Bob Balaban, was the director on it and one of the people who put it together, producers and stuff.
Yeah.
And boy, I love Bob Balaban. And I loved acting. And Dino gave me the most amazing advice. Dino said to me, you're going to go in to the rehearsal and you're going to meet Mia Farrow and you're going to meet Peter Coyote and you're going to meet Bob Balaban. And he said, you have all these skills for walking into a room and being yourself. You'll get to a funny story real quickly. You'll make some ball busting joke. You'll do something that's
Certain amount of charm.
you'll do all these tricks.
Yeah.
He said, I think if you want to do a good job in this part, don't do any of those. He said, go in there. Remember, this guy who's been in prison he was in prison for 25 years.
Yeah.
No eye contact with anybody. Don't initiate any conversation. Don't answer anything in more than one word. When Mia Farrow comes over and says, Woody and I saw your show off Broadway. It's really nice to meet you. Say thank you and look away. And I said, oh, man, this is that weird method shit. This is just like, Val Kilmer saying, call me Mr. Morrison when he's on the set of The Doors.
Yeah.
This is jive ass shit.
I don't think so.
And Dino said, do it. So I was so scared. I was so fucking scared because I'm in over my head.
Sure.
They're bringing in Carney Trash to work with, Tony-winning actors.
Yeah.
Superstars. Just Carney Trash wandering in. And boy, I knew what I wanted to do. I wanted to break the ice, maybe do a fucking card trick, anything,
Yeah.
And I walked in there and everybody's socializing. They know each other. I'm standing over in the corner and Bob Balaban introduces me and hello. That's it.
Yeah.
And there's a big lull in the conversation and I don't feel it. Mia Farrow comes over to talk to me. I don't.
Yeah.
By the time I got through that one day of rehearsal, then the next day, when I went to do the final dress, afterwards, Bob Balaban said to me, you can lighten it up a little bit. He said, there's jokes in here that you can play. And he said, I kind of know what you're doing, but give me like 10% Penn. He said, because I'm not seeing any Penn at all. I'm just seeing the character, and it's a little bit too death row for me. And I did that, and everybody was very, very happy. It was very, very good. And after 3 shows, I was in the dressing room talking to Mia Farrow, and talking to Peter Coyote, having a great time, hanging out, being myself. But man, Dean was exactly right.
Yeah. And part of it thinks it's for my reason and not yours.
What do you mean?
Those actors all give you the credit. You walk in and they're like, I was expecting Penn to be like blank, but he was fucking locked in from the moment he walked in the door.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. And so those actors, and they're going to give you that credit. So when they share the stage with you, they're going in giving you that credit.
Oh yeah, there's also that. Yeah,
that's part of it for me.
Yeah. And then I'll tell you, talking to Mia Farrow is the hardest thing in the world. Because Mia Farrow, I said to Mia Farrow, she goes, "You're playing Vegas," and I go, "Yeah." I go, "You been to Vegas?" Oh. And she says, "Well, Frank." She's really going to say the sentence, "Well, Frank," because I brought up Vegas. And then for some weird reason, and I'm just like, oh, yeah. She goes, "But Frank, we didn't really go to show." All of a sudden, I'm in the room with someone who's talking about dating Sinatra, married to Sinatra. So I'm reeling from that. Yeah. And then she said, "I think I saw the Broadway show. Did I go with Woody?" And then to make it worse, the final thing when I said I just can't talk to her anymore because I'm too stupid. I'm just too stupid. Yeah. I don't know what came up, but I think someone was talking about meditation. And I said, "Well, the TM stuff is bull." And then realized that she was with the Beatles and the Beach Boys and Donovan with the Maharishi Mahesh Yogi. And that when they wrote Dear Prudence, it was about Mia Farrow's sister who was there with her, who's named Prudence. And you just can't talk to her because all of my cultural references are her life. But it was crazy. And I ended up doing 2 runs of it, worked very well with Balaban. And I really, really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed being someone else. But boy, was it weird to walk into the room and not be me.
Yeah.
I want to, when I walk into a room, I want to be me.
Yeah.
It's, I have tools for that. Walking to the room as someone on death row is just no fun. What else? You got anything coming up?
I'll be at Mystic Dining February 4th through the 9th. That's in Folsom, California, just outside Sacramento.
4th, 5th, and 9th outside Sacramento at Mystic Dining.
4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th.
Okay.
Yeah. Some of them are already sold out because it's like an 18-seat dinner thing.
Well, find out quick. Go to Mystic Dining.
Yeah.
Go see the Mind Noodler, Matt Donnelly.
Yeah.
That'll be a great gig.
Yeah, especially we had after our conversation, that's perfect timing for these types of shows.
Uh-huh.
I can really experiment with the theatrical elements.
Good.
Yeah.
We'll have a good time. And now we're going to go over and work with the amazing Teller of Penn and Teller and work on the new show that'll start February 1st. February 1st, Penn and Teller hit the stage at the conveniently named Penn and Teller Theater once again at the Rio, and then we are there. We're just there until we do Fool Us.
Yeah.
So come on by and see us. That was Penn Sunday School.
That was Penn Sunday School.
Cha-cha-cha.
And to our listening
You become naked.
nature sang and round us rang the music of the spheres. That was Penn Sunday School.
I think I'd like to do, if it ever comes up before I die, some serious acting. I don't know.
I think you love it.
I may not be good enough, but I'd like to try it.
That's why you haven't gone for it for the thing you just said. That's why, because you're afraid you'd be bad at it.
Yeah.
But now you're getting the thing where you just want to try stuff
Yeah.
before you can.
I'll be dead soon. But we love you.